Hi everybody, and welcome to day 20 of our 40-day Keeping Lent Challenge. Thanks for joining us. Today we have with us a special guest, Gerard Manley Hopkins, a Jesuit priest from the 19th century who was a poet, among other things. And I want to share with you one of his poems, which I think, sometimes prayers, poetry are inspiring to us during this Lenten season and remind us of who we should be during these 40 days. So the name of the poem is As Kingfishers Catch Fire. And I'll read it and then talk a little bit about it and we'll be all wrapped up. As kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. As tumbled over rim in roundy wells, stones ring. Like each tucked string tells, each hung bell's bow swung, finds tongue to fling out broad its name. Each mortal thing does one thing and the same, deals out that being indoors each one dwells. Selves goes itself, myself it speaks and spells, crying, what I do is me, for that I came. I say more, the just man justices, keeps grace, that keeps all his goings graces, acts in God's eye what in God's eye he is, Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes not his, to the Father through the features of men's faces. I love the way he writes. You can tell the words kind of tumble along, and maybe they're a little hard to follow, but basically it's three parts. The first part talks about birds, kingfishers, dragonflies, bells, and it says that they all are what they do. They ring and they make a sound. They dive and fly and they make flashing light. But then it says, and human beings do the same. Each person, what it does, what we do is who we are. But then in the third part, he adds that spiritual dimension. He says, well, it's not just that we are who we are as a physical being, but if we're a just person, then we do justice. We do the things that are in us from God. And I love at the end where he says, Christ plays in 10,000 places through bodies and hearts and minds that are not his. In other words, Christ works through each of us. St. Paul said, yet I live no longer I, but Christ lives in me. Insofar as I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who has loved me and given himself up for me. So St. Paul embraced God so much, Christ, that he was letting Christ live through him. That's what our poet is saying. That's what St. Paul is saying. And that's one of our many goals for the season of Lent.